most of the
And now it's time to invite our honorary guest speaker, to Miss Melissa Whiteman, to the stage.
as I was watching the seniors come up and give their speech, all of their speeches were on their phone, and here I am as a 50-year-old with my speech printed out. Good evening, and thank you so much to the graduating class of 2026 for honoring me with this wonderful opportunity to speak at your graduation. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Melissa Whiteman, and I taught high school math for 3 amazing years here in Unalakleet, Alaska. My parents are from Huslia, Alaska. My mom is Selena Alexander. She is the oldest of the 14 DeWild children. And my dad was the late Edgar Byfeld, and he was one of 13 children. I am fortunate to have my second dad, Silas Alexander Jr. from Fort Yukon, Alaska, who is also one of 13 children. My grandparents are the late Lloyd and Amelia DeWild and the late Q and Madeline Byfeld, all from Huslia. And the late Silas Alexander Sr. and Charlotte Doffett from Fort Yukon. I am a proud Koyukon Athabascan from the interior, and somehow I am also a proud Athabascan from Unalakleet, Alaska. As I am speaking tonight, I'm going to ask everyone here to participate in my speech. Throughout the evening, I will require all of you to show me that you're listening by doing different hand signs. First, I need you to make a mini heart. And a mini heart is just your thumb and your index finger. So make sure the person to the left of you and to the right of you is making a mini heart. Encourage them to participate. Also, we have the big heart, and that requires both of your hands. It looks like this. So make sure the people around you are doing big heart. Give them an elbow if they're not. um, Another one that I'd like you to try is what we call clock it. and clock it is also your thumb and your index finger. And this is a signal for when someone is speaking truth and what they're saying is spot on. And lastly, with your left hand, I might need you to hold the mic for this. This is going to require both hands. With your left hand, I need you to make a W. And with your right hand, I need you to make a P. And then you need to cross them over. And this is the Wolfpack gang sign. So we're going to take this from the top. To make sure that you are listening, I'm going to call out mini heart. Everyone, please give me mini heart. Thank you. Now, big heart. And clock it. And lastly, get your hands ready. Left hand with the W, right hand with the P. Cross your arms over. Welcome to the gang. Before I begin my speech to these 11 graduating seniors, I need to acknowledge the absence of two amazing community members that are not with us this evening. We love and miss them dearly. Johanna Blatchford and Carol Moores. Johanna was born and raised in Unalakleet, and Carol Moores came to us from Texas and Maine. Each of them live in our hearts forever and impacted our lives in their own special ways. Johanna is the classmates of these seniors next to me. They grew up together. They played rainbow tag on the very playground outside of this school. They harvested salmon at fish camp. They jumped off the North River Bridge. They slid down Ayu's Hill on their butts and graduated from ECE together and danced together at prom. She was her own unique self, bright colors, big smile, and her own fashionable style. She loved coffee and once gifted me with an entire jumbo box of Lipton tea. She was very generous with her gifts. I taught her how to bead moose skin earrings and dentalium shell earrings, and she would go around the school and ask adults in the school what their favorite colors were, and all of her projects were gifts for the people that she loved and that were part of her life and that mattered to her. She was so cute. She was our girl. Her moms are Chara and Brianna, and they raised up a big-hearted young lady, and we thank them for sharing her with us. She left us too soon. Carol Moores was a veteran and served this country in the Iraq War. She was our school counselor, but she was also so much more than that. She was our friend, our coworker, and a champion for the youth of this community and all the communities that she served as a counselor. Um, she put the best proms on and got the students to dance all night, and she worked the concession stands at all of the community events that were hosted by our school. She helped the students fill out for their post-secondary subjects and apply for college and think about their futures. She taught French and Spanish so that students could qualify for the Alaska Performance Scholarship. And she also started the National Honor Society so students would be able to have that on their resumes. It gave them a foot up on scholarships and also applying for the many programs that they're going to be going to next. She took our small town kids on an amazing trip to Europe. She saw bright futures for our students and manifested fun activities on their behalf. She also left us too soon and leaves behind a legacy of a life well lived. I want to thank their families for tuning in and being here today. And I want you to know that we carry these two special people in our heart all the time. I would like us to take a moment of silence for Johanna Blatchford and Carol Moores. For those of you in the crowd, if you are able to stand, I would like you to do so now and hold up two mini hearts in their memory. So if you can stand, crowd, please stand up. For our seniors, I need you to put both your hands together and I need you to make a big heart in their memories. And I will begin the moment of silence now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Peace to their memory. The theme of tonight's speech is Welcome Home, and what that means to all of us. It is two simple words, but it means so much more than that because what makes home home? Is it where you were born, or is it where your family is from, where you grew up, where you spent a majority of your life? Is it where you settled down and planted your roots? Or is it the place that you made the most impact? I propose that it is all of that and then some. Home is where the heart is. I'm speaking truth, so clock it. I just turned 50 last week on Wednesday, and in my lifetime, I have called so many places home. First is Hooslea, Alaska, where my family is from, then Fairbanks, Alaska, where I grew up and I currently live and teach. Fort Yukon, Alaska, where my family had a fish camp at 30 Mile, Galena, Alaska, where I taught for 15 years, and now Unalakleet, Alaska, where I taught for 3 years. I consider all of these places home, and when I visit all of these places, people greet me with, "Welcome home." And in my heart, they all feel like home. Making the journey from Fairbanks, Alaska to Unalakleet, Alaska required 3 plane rides, 2 with Alaska Airlines and 1 on Bering Air. These flights are not cheap, and I would like to thank Miss Brittany Worth and the class of 2026 for bringing me home for a visit. Home is where you build community, and you don't have to be there for long to be part of community. Being part of community requires you to share your unique gifts with others, to offer a helping hand where needed, and to say yes to any and all adventures. My advice to you seniors is to be part of community wherever you go and contribute to that community in positive and impactful ways. Tonight is about you, and you're surrounded by a gym full of family, friends, relatives, teachers, administration, and community members that are excited for your future and are so incredibly proud of you and all of your accomplishments thus far. I hope you can feel that love and all the excitement on your behalf. Being an active member of community will serve you well over your lifetime. I was reminded of that on Wednesday, my first day back here at home. I wore my Bering Strait School District sweatshirt and my Unalakleet Wolfpack staff vest and crashed the staff dinner to celebrate our Filipino teachers and families. It was so beautiful to see how they were honored for their contributions to this community. If you need an example of what building a community looks like, please look no further than our Friends for Life, Sir Apollo, Sir Alden, Miss Shai, Maria, Harold, Sir Ali, Alex, Alyssa, and Aaliyah. They come to us from their home communities of the islands of the Philippines. They come from communities that value family, heritage, respect for elders, love of their children, and are hardworking and resourceful people. Does that sound familiar? It sounds like here. They said yes to an adventure by coming to work for Bering Strait School District, having their first real experience with snow and blizzards and sub-zero temperatures. Their journey here takes probably over 30 hours in several different flights. They said yes and had to leave their families behind, leaving behind spouses and children and parents and cousins and elderly family members. Despite being in a strange place, missing their family and friends, and being thousands and thousands of miles from home, they said yes to adventure. They arrived in Unalakleet and shared their unique gifts with us through food, art, and dance. On one of the Anglani days, we all went fishing at Ayu's Hill, and I remember that Apollo and Alden had to hop in the back of a snow machine sled, and after fishing, they had to get back into the snow machine sled, and I was driving behind it. And it was a really rough ride. That sled was bouncing over the tussocks, and they were just hopping around and bouncing all over, and I'm sure they had to hang on for their dear life. And at the end of that crazy ride, they were still smiling and they were still happy to have been there. And I want you to know that sharing your gifts with all of us has meant so much to this community. I would like us to take this time right now to bless our Filipino brothers and sisters. So, everyone in here, I need you to put out your two hands like this. Locate your nearest Filipino brother and sister. Put your hands out front. These are prayer hands. And I learned a custom in Galena. And in Galena, we bless all of those that are venturing on to another place and another time. And I am going to sing a song, and I apologize in advance for not being able to carry a tune. Hold up your hands over our friends. May the blessings of God be upon you, the blessings of the Father and the Son, and may the Spirit of God, the Spirit of love, be with you all your days. Thank you. Thank you for being part of our lives and being a shining example of what building community looks like. You can lead the way and show our youth what a life full of adventure can be. Even outside of your elements, you can make the best of every day and every situation. I am also an adventurous person, and that's what got me to leave my hometown of Fairbanks and put roots down in Galena, Alaska. I spent 15 wonderful years in Galena. I met and married my husband. I helped build a house and a cabin, and I was an integral part of my stepson Kobe's childhood. And I taught math like a boss to children from all over the state of Alaska as a teacher for Galena Interior Learning Academy and Sydney Huntington School. I went to Galena as Miss Byfeld, and I left Galena as Mrs. Whiteman. When my husband and I finally decided to venture over to the coast, we arrived by a boat instead of by plane. It was an amazing experience, 750 miles by boat, and it took 3 days. We had to pull over at Gulsovia Lodge to wait out some huge swells because we were traveling in a flat bottom Aldweld. We almost ran aground out front of town, but luckily my husband David turned at the last second and we were able to get away from the shallow water. We arrived windburnt and sunburnt, and we were tired. and Jeff Erickson was our greeting party. I vividly remember him smiling at the AC landing and saying, "Welcome to Unalakleet." We had a picnic on the beach later that week in front of Jeff and Donna's house. Our four-wheelers had arrived earlier in the summer and were parked up at Jason and Myra's lot. We were able to pick them up and have transportation right away. Jeff knew this and arranged for us to go on our first ride, and he took us to, of all places, Tom Cod Hill. I was too scared to tell everyone that I wasn't a very skilled four-wheeler driver, and I had little to no confidence in my ability to survive this journey. But I said yes to adventure anyway, and I had the absolute best time that day. It was 60 degrees, and it was so stinking hot. We passed the entire town on the beach. Kids were swimming in the ocean, floating down Powers Creek. Families had bonfires going, and everyone was roasting hot dogs. And that's when I knew that I would fit right in here. I had to use the lower gear, reverse. I had to gun it through mucky, muddy mud holes. I had to gas it and just take a run to get to the very top of Tom Cod Hill. That single ride opened up my world of possibilities, and I felt comfortable going on all the other trails in Unalakleet. And you couldn't keep me home. After that, I saw my cousin Chow walking to AC, and she could tell that I was an Athabascan, and she's also Athabascan, and so she introduced herself to me. I met Bong and her sister Lala out on the boardwalk, and they were telling me about all the good blueberry spots. My favorite picking spots are White Alice and also the backside of VOR. So please, seniors, say yes to adventures, even if you are unsure and hesitant to go outside of your comfort zones. We all have unique gifts to share, and it is important that we share those gifts openly and proudly. Be your authentic selves, and others will recognize your awesomeness and want you to be part of their community. You are already a mile ahead of everyone else on being amazing. I have so many cool memories of spending 9 months in the classroom with the class of 2026. They let me be their salty, half-off math teacher for 3 years and allowed me to grow in my craft, perfect my ability to show love, and also hold them to high standards and expectations. We sure masked it up. I'd routinely say, "You got 99 problems," and really mean it. Some of the silly memories I have of them are for Grace Arca, the youngest of the Arca sisters, so smart and quiet and kind. I need you to know that the Arcas are all naturally good at math, and it comes pretty easy to them. But Grace is the best at it. Sorry, Mary and Rebecca. Grace is an incredibly loyal friend, and I enjoyed her contributions to the paw print and her creative lessons that she came up with for Ed Rising. She taught an art lesson to the elementary students and showed them carving skills on a bar of soap. I thought that was so creative, culturally relevant, and awesome. For cousins Violet Jack and Aria Busk, my smart math nerds, up front and center, just all business getting their work done in class. They were never off task or too tired or bored. One of my favorite memories is an interaction with them and Keely Johnson. Keely routinely rolled her eyes at me and gave me the most sour looks in Algebra 2. Keely was in the same class as Violet and Aria, and one day she overheard a conversation they were having as they were doing their math, and it went like this. What's your favorite number? I think mine is 13 because yada, yada, yada. I can't remember why 13 was such a cool number, but I did notice Keely listening and to their conversation just give them this look and rolling her eyes real hard in their direction. And I like she was saying, like, get a load of these two nerds. I love that you are proud nerds and that you've always been so happy to show that you love learning. For Aria Roche, who is also a hard worker. Oh gosh darn it, for IU Roche, I'm so sorry. This is the second time. I'm tired. I'm perimenopausal and I woke up at 5 a.m. For IU Roche. She is also a hard worker and she takes pride in getting her math done in a timely manner. She would sit in the middle of the room and take notes, ask great clarifying questions, and express her displeasure in the most Unalakleet way that I know possible. When I'd assign a bunch of problems or tell them about an upcoming test or quiz, she would say, "Arah." She said it so much that when I take attendance, I'd say in my head her full name. And I'd get to her name and I would say, "Are you Ara Roche?" And she comes by it honestly. I have some mutual friends in the WISA community, and they have told me that her dad, Matt Roche, says Ara all the time as well. For Maria Amor, she came to us in middle school, and I remember meeting her on the playground, and she had this great energy and big smile. She was so outspoken and talked a million miles a minute and was so excited about everything she was saying and sharing. She talked so fast that I felt like I couldn't even blink or I would miss an important part of her story. And she is still this way, a bubbly, fast talking, and loving person. Please never lose that shine. You are an artist, a dancer, a kind friend, and an all around great person. I want to be your first guest from Alaska to visit you in the Philippines. I promise. For Akeda Anagik, she would let me call her Johanna more than once because I would always mix her and her cousin up. And every time I say it, she would say, "I'm Akeda," in her Akeda dry wit way. She is straightforward, confident, and so creative. I love teaching her beading because she always came up with the coolest designs and the greatest color combinations. She is a big sister and takes care of the ones she loves. Family is important to her, and friendship is key in her life. I love your style, your personality, and creativity. And most importantly, I love your dry and straightforward sense of humor. For Clinton Catchatag, he hates math. He just absolutely did not enjoy geometry and would be up front by Akeda and Maria and just be so miserable. He'd come to class with the best treats and baked goods. His classmates would solicit him for a cookie and explain to him why they deserved the cookie the most. And the boys in the back would always dig around in their pockets and they would say, "I'll give you $3 for that cookie right now." I love that Clinton has a serious side hustle as a master baker, slinging cookies and baked goods during passing periods and breaks, all on the DL. That's short for down low. Clinton will go to culinary school, and I can see him winning the next top baker one day. He hates math, but he has to do math every day to create his recipes and perfect his craft. for Trevin Soderstrom, Chase Doty, and Isaac Smith, my back of the room guys, my starting five varsity basketball students. They always had me on my toes, asking me when this was due and how many problems did they have and what if they missed the problems, could they correct them and get a higher score? Chase was famously late to class. Messy hair, don't care. Eye boogers and tired, arriving to math class and sitting in the back left corner of the room. It would always take his brain a while to wake up and get going. He is so cool. He is a big brother, an expert bird hunter, and outdoorsman. I love how brown you get in the spring from sitting in the bird blind all day. What a cool guy. His grandma Millie is my best friend. I even shared my sourdough starter with her, so now she can cook pancakes for her many grandchildren all year round. So, guys, hit up Millie for sourdough pancakes, okay? Isaac Smith is naturally good at math, and he is outspoken and will advocate for fairness and hold you accountable as a teacher to your word. He'd call me out on the regular and say, "But you said da 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 da." I was sometimes really salty with him and his classmates, and he would always give it right back to me, and I appreciated the way that he wouldn't let me razz them without repercussions. You are an awesome Ivanov Smith, and I get goosebumps when I think of the state championship game and how you turned it up when your team needed you the most. Continue to contribute and step up when it is all on the line. For Trevin Soderstrom, the most confident and big plan man I know. He talked about his business plans and aspirations on a regular basis. He said he'd be a millionaire one day, and I think he should start saying billionaire now because millionaire is just too basic for this guy. He spent a good portion of the school year trying to sell me an ice fishing hut, like I would be able to use it. He wasn't afraid to share his opinions, political viewpoints, and thoughts on world affairs. I love that he is paying attention and keeping us all informed on current events. Please, when you are a billionaire, invite me onto your yacht. I ask that you fly this poor, tired math teacher onto your yacht in your private helicopter. Thank you very much in advance. For Carter Gray, the only senior I do not have a personal memory with, I asked your teachers about you, and this is what they told me. Carter has family ties to Unk, and his mom is from here. So, in a way, it feels like coming home for him his senior year. He fits right in and has found a core group of friends. He dyes his hair bleach blonde and flashes a nice big smile any chance he gets. And they also said you had a great sense of humor. Please, please, graduating class of 2026, don't forget your awesomeness and continue to share your unique gifts with others. They will recognize it and be drawn to your charisma. Give back in important ways. Volunteer for community events. Show up and show out when you are needed. And be kind. All the adults and family in this room want you to be kind first, and all else will fall into place naturally for you. We are all excited to see what your future holds and what you will become. We see big things for you and know that earning this high school diploma this evening is just the beginning of the journey. Thank you for allowing me to be my genuine self, short, gray haired, salty, straightforward, and a mouthy math teacher. I had to give you lectures and come down hard on you on more than one occasion, and you took it like champs. You loved me despite my crankiness and just did with what I said without too much pushback. I am proud of you and I have missed you. Some of my unique gifts that I share with people that I love are my awesome cooking skills and my sense of humor. I am here tonight because I make amazing sourdough pancakes. They are perfectly browned, thin, and they hold all the love that I have for you in pancake form. If you've had some of my sourdough pancakes, then you know that I love you. I'm pancake famous, and I brought my starter with me so I could cook for the seniors and also share with my coworkers and the students of this school. I am really goofy and half off. When you come from such a loud and diverse background of families, you are bound to be silly. I am a Biefeld, a DeWild, and an Alexander. My family is huge. They are a family of procreators. You know what that means. They have no problem making babies. And that stopped with me. I was never able to conceive a child, even though I really wanted that. I even had a name picked out if I had a girl, and her name was going to be Aisha Ann Whiteman. And she'd have her dad's tallness and basketball skills and athleticism, and she'd have my beauty and fun personality. Alas, that never happened and came about, and I grieved it and I moved on. I realize now that I don't need to have children because my students are like my children. In over 20 years of teaching, I have made meaningful and impactful relationships with so many students. So I have a bunch of kids. They are just not mine by blood. So thank you, moms and dads, for sharing your kids with me, your most precious babies. I have loved being their math teacher. My humor is my superpower. I had so many goofy thoughts on this trip alone. I was so excited to see Yanni last night at the Busk's house that I said to her, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I was hoping that we'd have a chance to walk and talk and visit, and she told me, "I don't know, get up, go to work, go home, and then graduation." And I said, "Oh, shoot, that's right, I'm giving a speech." When Donna and I were driving to the cakewalk on Wednesday and it was out front of Bearing Air and NAC, I jokingly told her that we'd be walking in a circle and kicking up dust. We'd be a bunch of pig pens by the end of the night from the Peanuts cartoons. We would go home with dirty and dusty faces and a cake. I was telling Maury, Janisha, and Jewel about practicing my speech out on the beach, and my audience would be the seagulls. Then I said, "Oh, I should walk to the bridge and give my speech to that one legged seagull." And they all said, "You mean Peggy?" People will drive by and they'll see me in a deep conversation with a seagull, and they'll think to themselves, "There's that crazy Athabascan math teacher talking with the birds again." Speaking of humor and being silly, one more person has a piece of advice for the class of 2026, and that is my alter ego, Anti Basketball. I need to get some gear on though, so I'm going to put the mic down and we'll introduce Anti Basketball to you. Got to get the wristband, wipe my tears away with it. Hey, seniors, sometimes life is real tough, and you got to be faced with challenges and adversity, and sometimes you need to go real hard in the paint. Sometimes you need to posterize some people and show them who they're dealing with. Don't be afraid to trash talk them. You are invited to Anti Basketball's first trash talking camp. It's going to be outside at the swing sets. Be there, be square. The first lesson is free, and all the other lessons after that are $10. Here are some of a few of my favorite one-liners. You thought you can guard me? I'm slippery like a salmon. I'm going to steal the ball from you and then steal your honey later. Even your mom knows that you can't guard me. Sorry if I had to posterize you. How does my belly button smell? I just busted a 3 in your eye so you could see what good shooting form looks like. I will wrap up my speech now before Chris Busk is forced to take the mic out of my hand and drag me off the stage by asking everyone here that is able to stand up and face these 11 seniors. And I'd like the seniors to stand up and face your community. And with your left hand, so go ahead and stand up. And with that left hand, make the W. And with your right hand, make that P. And cross your arms over. And I'm going to count us down. At the count of 3, we're going to say wolf pack on 3. Are you guys ready? I said, are you guys ready? All right. Wolf pack on 3. 1, 2, 3, wolf pack! Thank you so much for your love and kindness and blessing me with this opportunity to share advice that will serve you in your adulting life. I love you dearly.
You guys were supposed to give a standing ovation. Thank you, that was wonderful.